up on Vegas Nation Gameday, the Raiders are headed to the Big Easy for a Week 8 matchup versus the Saints.
I just think it's going to be a dream come true being able to go back home and play in the Superdome.
Can the Raiders stack some wins as we near the halfway point of the season?
If we can keep doing that, hopefully we can have success. But this team that we're playing this week is unbelievable in situational football.
Raiders, fast takes, and smart coverage coming up right now on Vegas Nation Gameday.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review-Journal, this is Vegas Nation Gameday. Presented by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.
Welcome in, football fans, to this week's episode of Vegas Nation Gameday. I'm your host, Cassie Soto. Spooky season is upon us, and the football gods scheduled what I think are two of the best-dressed fan bases in the league to go up against each other on Halloween weekend. The Raiders heading to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Let's go ahead and get to our opening drive, brought to you by Capriotti's. Make your game day extraordinary with Capriotti's. Order now.
Out of curiosity, is it the same one that you were going with?
It's the other one, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
right when it was preseason and this was left. Yeah, it just kind of happens, you know. I push myself pretty hard in practice. You know, sometimes it's like, all right, look at how is it almost too much sometimes?
Right.
So just trying to find that balance of, you know, working hard but not like running yourself into the ground, kind of. So that's where I feel like something like that may have happened.
Raiders beat writer Vinny Bonsignore here with us now. Vinny, that was tight end Darren Waller. We were able to speak with him earlier this week, and he gave us an update on his injury. We knew he was having issues with his right hamstring in the preseason, and now he's saying it's the left that's currently giving him trouble. Not the best news coming from the tight end.
Yeah, that's why we asked that question, because it was easy to assume that it was just a continuation of the hamstring injury that he suffered in training camp that knocked him out of quite a bit of training camp. Now, I don't know whether to read a good thing into it or bad thing into it. One, if you're looking for the positive side, it means that the other one isn't lingering and, you know, being sort of a chronic issue this year. But the other part of it is now he's got two that he's got to deal with potentially. So I think read better news into it than worse news, and that's the fact that it seems like the other one is fine, and it seems like the left side now is okay based on how he looked running around these last couple of days. His spirit seemed to be way up, and he's excited to get back on the field. Has it been frustrating that he couldn't? Obviously. But he has a good way about him in terms of putting everything in perspective, worrying about what you control, and that's getting onto the field as quickly as possible and doing the right things and being as prudent as possible to make sure he gets back as quickly as possible, number one, but stays on the field for a prolonged period of time rather than start, stop like he has been.
The Raiders are definitely excited to have Waller back on the field as the team prepares for its Halloween weekend matchup versus New Orleans. The Saints have made it official that Andy Dalton will be starting at QB. Could this finally be the game that someone not named Max Crosby steps up and makes an impact?
Yeah, and they definitely need Chandler Jones, and we saw Chandler Jones and Cleve Farrell get a sack. I don't remember exactly who got the credit for that, but it was kind of a dual type thing. But that's what they need. They need more players along the defensive line, especially on the outside, to do more damage than just Max Crosby. If they can get that, then it really helps everything, not just obviously from the sack totals and getting pressure on the quarterback, but it makes life easier for the back end of this defense, which we know has been dealing with some injuries, number one, and B, even when everybody's been healthy, it hasn't necessarily been a good or a strength for the Raiders. And they need to get that thing turned around on the back end in a hurry because this offense is playing at a really high level, but you don't want to always rely on your offense to score 30, 35 points a game just to be able to have a chance to win it. The defense needs to step up and do it, and there's talent out there. You expect that maybe it'll come together as the year goes on under new defensive coordinator Patrick Graham, but we're 8 weeks into the season now. We're getting down to the 8th week of the season. It's time for the defense to show up.
Well, the NFL trade deadline is coming up on November 1st. We know that the Raiders did part ways with defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins recently. Do you expect the Raiders to be more active in the coming days ahead of that deadline?
We have to define active. I do expect them to be working the phones. They already are right now as we speak. So I do expect them to be active from that front, making a deal, consummating a deal. it takes two to tango, sometimes three in that regard. So we have to wait to see if they're able to actually complete a deal. But there's no question that they're trying to improve this roster. And one thing to keep in mind, I don't expect them to go out and get any stopgap type players. I mean, it might be that case where they do that. But I think what they're trying to do is help themselves now, but also put themselves in a position where whoever they bring in, if they are able to bring somebody in, is going to be here for a little while so that they can help them in the future as well.
Flip the Field, brought to you by South Point Sports. Download the app at southpointsports.com. Hey everyone, it's Heidi Fang, and I'm joined here with our Review Journal sports columnist, Ed Graney, and it's time to take a look behind enemy lines as we look at the New Orleans Saints. Raiders headed into New Orleans to face this team that's also struggling with just 2 wins right now. But we're looking at somebody, Ed, in Taysom Hill, that can take the football literally almost anywhere he wants on the field. What do you make of the Saints having a guy like this that plays that joker role?
Yeah, Heidi, it's really weird about Taysom Hill. Two weeks ago, he has the game of his life. He has a career week. And then last week against Arizona, 6 touches, couple completed passes, did have a touchdown reception, 3 carries for 9 yards. So you really don't know what they're doing with Taysom Hill at this point. If I'm the Saints, I put him on the field against the Raiders for a lot of touches, a lot of plays. You and I both know that the Raiders have struggled on the second level, the secondary, and how they've tried to improve there. But Taysom Hill can hurt you in a lot of ways. And like I said, if he's the Taysom Hill of last week, they might not have to worry about him as much. But if he's the Taysom Hill from a couple of weeks ago, when he had a career day, they will have to worry about him. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the Saints match Taysom Hill up against the Raiders, especially a Raiders defense that we both know has struggled at times.
Someone else who's been standing out for this team is Chris Olave, Ed, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. Rookie season, but yet not playing like a rookie, playing with a lot of poise. What do you think about Chris Olave and the impact he might have on this game?
Yeah, he brings a huge presence on the field. Let's go through his last several games. 80 yards, 147, 67, 54, 106. Those are great numbers for rookie, right? And he's carrying himself like a much older player, like you just said, Heidi, like a veteran. The Raiders are really going to have to step up here against Chris, because I'm telling you, he got to have a really good game if the corners don't show up, if the safeties don't show up. I think the Red Rocket, you and I both know him, Andy Dalton, is going to try to find him as much as possible. Again, 106 last week, 147 against Carolina. He had 80 against Tampa Bay. So this is a guy who's, usually around the 100-yard mark, and he's handling himself much more, as you said, not like a rookie, but as a veteran and a guy who's been around for a long time. So the Raiders are going to have their hands full with him as well.
With this week's injury report, I'm Adam Hill. Davante Adams is trending in the right direction. He missed the first 2 practices of the week with illness, but he was limited on Friday, and it looks like he's going to play. Not a direct quote from Davante, but it sounds like he is going to be better. He looked like he was in much better spirits in the locker room. Looks like he's going to give it a go on Sunday, and he's not alone. Several players missed practices this week with illness. Most of them are listed as questionable for the game. Jonathan Abram, Tashawn Bauer among them. They are both questionable as well, but everybody seemed to be in pretty good spirits. It sounds like they are through the worst of this bug that has been going through the locker room. Josh McDaniel said the hope now is that nobody else caught anything and that it starts to spread a little bit more on the flight. And then once they get to New Orleans, on the actual injury front, Darren Waller questionable. He was able to get in limited practices all 3 days this week. He looks to be trending in the right direction as well, as does wide receiver DJ Turner. He was limited with a hamstring issue, and it looks like he's questionable too, but trending in the right direction for him as well. Mac Hollins, of course, played through that heel injury last week. He's questionable this week, but he was able to get in limited practices all 3 days. And then the real biggest concern on this team right now is Divine Diablo. The linebacker did not participate Wednesday or Thursday. He did get in a limited session on Friday. He is truly questionable, I believe, for this game. We will see if he's able to go, probably give it a go in pregame warmups and see if he's able to play on Sunday. On the other side of things, the Saints are decimated. Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, top 2 receivers, both out for this game. Marshawn Lattimore, their star corner as well. That's good news for Davante Adams if he does indeed play on Sunday. With the injury report, I'm Adam Hill.
DNR House of Diamonds is Las Vegas's elite private office jeweler, the perfect bridge between internet pricing and a traditional brick-and-mortar jewelry store. We specialize in loose diamonds, natural and lab-grown, engagement rings, fashion jewelry, custom design, and jewelry repairs. We operate by appointment in our beautiful offices in the One Summerlin building, downtown Summerlin. Our great relationships with the world's largest diamond wholesalers and our low overhead saves you hundreds, if not thousands, on your purchase.
With Capriotti's, game day is always extraordinary. Fuel your passion with our award-winning cheesesteaks, in-house oven-roasted turkey, and classic subs. Or create a fan frenzy with our catering trays that are perfect for any crew. At Capriotti's, we deliver extraordinary to you.
Listen to the Vegas Nation podcast 3 times a week, featuring Vinny Bonsignor and Sam Gordon to kick off the week with First and 10. In the middle of the week, catch Heidi Fang's takeaways, and rounding out the week on Fridays is Ed Graney and Adam Hill with unsportsmanlike conduct. Subscribe to the podcast and check them out as well on VegasNation.com and the Vegas Nation app, all powered by the Las Vegas Review Journal. Vegas Nation, fast takes, smart coverage.
Mic check.
I can't wait, because I never played in the Superdome, in college, in high school, whatever. Never made it to the state, whatever. So I never played in that stadium. So I know it's going to be exciting, going to be something that I never forget. My whole family's going to be there, So of course we want to win the game, but I just think it's going to be a dream come true being able to go back home and play in the Superdome.
Is there more pressure on you when you go back home like that?
It's crazy. No. It's so crazy when I'm playing. I feel like when I'm playing in front of my family, I'm just calm. Like the game, everything is slow. The game just slowing down for me, period. So it's like I'd be more excited to be out there not even worrying about mistakes, just going out there and playing football and making plays. That's all I'm really concerned about, and winning.
Is your family going to be rocking silver and black though? What's going on there?
I think only one person. I think my auntie, because she was a Saints fan since I was young.
Okay.
And she said she's going to try to get a jersey with my number in the back. My number in the front, 21 with the Raiders or whatever, and in the back she's going to have a 0-0 New Orleans Saints with the. It's just crazy. I don't know how she's going to do it, but she's going to do that. I don't know.
Let's go ahead and get a look at the lines with sports betting columnist for the Las Vegas Review Journal, Todd Dewey.
Thanks, Cassie. The Raiders are 1.5-point road favorites at New Orleans this week after the line opened at 2.5. That's because sharp bettors have backed the Saints in this one to win and cover the spread at home in a rematch of the Raiders' first home game at Allegiant Stadium back in 2020. The Raiders won that one 34-24 in Monday Night Football. Several sports books reported sharp action on the Saints against the spread, and Circa took sharp money on New Orleans on the money line. Total is 49.5, and the over is the most popular total bet at BetMGM. Both teams have gone over in their last 4 games. After losing and failing to cover their first 3 games this season, the Raiders have won 2 of their last 3 while going 3-0 against the spread. Raiders bettors are hoping that streak continues this Sunday in the Big Easy.
That'll do it for this week's episode of Vegas Nation Game Day. Once again, the Raiders are headed to New Orleans to take on the Saints this Sunday at 10 a.m. For more Raiders news, you can always go to VegasNation.com. For our entire crew here, I'm Cassie Soto. Have a great weekend.
Powered by the Las Vegas Review Journal, this is Vegas Nation Game Day. Presented by D&R House of Diamonds, making luxury affordable. Located in the One Summerlin building in downtown Summerlin.